Yo, what's up? What's going on? What's good? The Boxing Source checking in here, and I wanted to talk about the news that was going around in reference to the welterweight situation or the welterweight title picture, right? I did, have a video that was posted, a few days ago in reference to the situation with Errol Spence Jr., the WBC and IBF welterweight champion. But now it looks like there's been another development in reference to the welterweight division, as now you have the WBA pretty much saying that Yordenis Ugas could be free to face Errol Spence in a unification bout, given that the winner of that bout would eventually face the WBA mandatory challenger later on down the line, given that, you have Yordenis Stanionis getting some step-aside money so that Stanionis doesn't end up fighting Yordenis Ugas, who was supposed to, have that fight with. Of course, the WBA had this messy situation, given that you had the fight between Jamal James there and Razab Batayev for the regular WBA title, where Razab Batayev was able to stop Jamal James, and then we were eventually going to have Yordenis Ugas going up against Yordenis Stanionis there for the WBA super title. The WBA super title that Yordenis Ugas pretty much received by order of the WBA and defended it against Manny Pacquiao earlier this year. But now with this whole situation, you got the opportunity for Errol Spence Jr. to have another unification bout here against Yordenis Ugas. Now, for those that were kind of following the situation there with Errol Spence over this past year, the original plan or the original plot was for Errol Spence to fight Yordenis Ugas, as Yordenis Ugas was going to be named the WBA Super Champion due to Manny Pacquiao's inactivity. But then Manny Pacquiao said that he's going to, enter his name into the hat as being active for another fight. So they had arranged to have Manny Pacquiao versus Errol Spence Jr., and that fight was going to be scheduled for the summer, August and everything like that. That was part of the plan from Al Heyman, or whatever Al Heyman told Errol Spence Jr. a few years ago back in 2018, that this is the plan that we got for you. As long as you're able to, win your fights, then we're going to set this up for you. Don't worry about it. And so that was going to be the coup de grace for Errol Spence Jr., was for him to fight Manny Pacquiao. And it could have been for the WBC, IBF, and WBA titles. But the WBA, initially there at that particular time, said no to Manny Pacquiao being reinstated to be the WBA champion. And so initially you were just going to have Errol Spence versus Manny Pacquiao, and it wasn't going to be for those three belts, But with the injury sustained by Errol Spence, you had Manny Pacquiao versus Yordenis Ugas, which Yordenis Ugas ended up winning, okay? And now with that, Yordenis Ugas is the WBA champion, and Errol Spence is still trying to stick with that plan to win as many belts as possible before trying to go after Terrence Crawford for the Undisputed Championship. And that's basically what this particular plan is that you're going to have Yordenis Ugas, Errol Spence, for 3 of the 4 major titles there at 147 pounds. And with Terrence Crawford, now it's who knows. People say that he's a free agent. Maybe he's a free agent. But one thing is this. We had one side that tried to work out a particular thing to try to get to Terrence Crawford to, end up making a fight happen between him and Errol Spence. So for now, you may not see it. But for Terrence Crawford, there may be a couple of options there for Terrence Crawford here in 2022 coming up. And one of them may be a fairly big fight in the welterweight division that could be made that could be fairly lucrative, but of course it's not Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. getting in the ring, at least not for now. But at least what we have here is Errol Spence and Yordenis Ugas. Looks like that fight is going to eventually materialize and kind of like go forward in the first, quarter of 2022. Maybe the first by March of 2022 or maybe April of 2022. You may end up seeing Errol Spence Jr. versus Yordenis Ugas for the WBC, WBA, and IBF welterweight titles. And so that's what I got in reference to this particular situation, updating from what I had earlier a few days ago in reference to Errol Spence. As far as the IBF is concerned, I don't necessarily know as of yet. Gotta wait until the IBF comes out with their latest rankings to see what they will say as far as like if there is an IBF mandatory challenger. So be on the lookout for that too as well. But for those that haven't subscribed to the Boxing Source already, please do so. We would really appreciate it. Until next time, I'll catch y'all later. Peace.